This podcast contains descriptions of extreme violence, body horror, and adult language. Please check the description for details. Viewer discretion is advised. You hear the sound of this stranger kind of shift a little bit. You hear him shift as he hears you responding kind, and he very gently whispers, "I'm getting a light."
How well can I see in this darkness with my special eyes?
This is too dark even for you.
Nixe just kind of waits to see what this person will do. Still, like, fully on edge.
You hear the slight click of a flashlight, which you note is not bright at all. It is like as if this thing is on half battery almost. It barely illuminates the area that you're in. Your eyes mean that you can see quite well as a result, but it is very low and dim light coming from this thing. And as you kind of observe it, you see that it does appear to have been modified in some way, seemingly to do this on purpose. As looking back at you, you see this, like, individual covered in rags and, like, you know, loose material and fabric, and he kind of like puts up his other hand as if, you know, like in a way of just like, hey, I'm not gonna pull anything, I'm not doing anything. And he just goes, "We can't remain here for too long. Let's move."
Nixe, before she does anything, she looks at the light, like how dim it is, and you said that it was almost intentional as for it to be this dim. Nixe just kind of whispers, "Are they able to tell electrical's charges well in this place?"
No, I can explain later.
She kind of makes a face, but she like nods and then just kind of gestures for him to like lead the way then.
He shuffles, he starts to shuffle his way backward as he points this dim light now in the opposite direction so that you can see what's going on. And you, instead of seeing like some long like passageway or something, you see instead what looks like a couple of like metal rungs that have been hammered into the wall, the kind of thing that you would expect to see at like a sewer, right? As he starts to shimmy his way, and this is the kind of thing where you do actually have to be on all fours in order to be making your way through this place. And he starts to climb up this concrete and metal ladder going upward, beckoning you to follow him.
He is above me, but at least I can bite him in the ass with my teeth if it tries to do anything. So I will climb right back after them.
Yeah, you were climbing behind this guy, and this is like a long, like, ladder upwards. It's very clearly a maintenance chute of some kind. And it seems to, if you were to judge it according to what you were seeing of the room that you were in, this seems to go up not just to the top of the room, but like past the top of the room even. And eventually, after this long climb, you see him kind of like hike himself up onto, you know, what is very clearly the end. And you find yourself a little ways down a new, like, you know, crawl space before you eventually see him open up another one of these, like, hatches with one of those buttons where you hear, like, the like, little beep of it being activated, and then it once again hisses and opens as he crawls out, and stands up and waits for you to come out as well.
I am following tentatively, waiting for a shoe to drop, but I do catch up to them.
You stand, and you find yourself in what looks like an old dusty pump room. It is like, it has this humming, which is, it's very clearly, like, still working. It seems to be, you know, activated enough that it is still, you know, moving the water into that room that it was before. But it's not, like, overly loud machinery. But once you finish standing up, he hits the button once again. And, like, you see him kind of, like, hurriedly make his way over to the exit of this room, and open the door, and you see that he's actually, like, holding his hands over his ears as he does so. And he, like, opens the door, goes through it, and then just, like, really kind of, like, incessantly, like, hurries you to be like, hey, let's get out.
Yeah, no, Nixe, just continues to follow this person, because, people now know that she's here, and know that she disappeared somehow, so their security is gonna go way up very soon. So, like, Nixe understand that even though she doesn't like following a stranger, it's like, go, 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 go.
The thing that strikes you as odd, that room had some noise in it. It was not loud. Not loud enough that you would cover your ears because of how loud it is. Like, that was a weird reaction from him. You get through the door and he, like, very quickly, like, shuts it behind you, muffling the noise, as he then, like, removes his hands from his ears, and continues down the hallway with this dim flashlight, as, you see that you're now in what resembles more of a, like, less, like, public apartments and that kind of a thing, and what looks like hallways that are more designed for, you know, civic workers, the kind of, like, behind-the-scenes places that you might expect to see in, like, you know, power stations and you know, any kind of, like, you know, facility that would be designed for public workers to keep the city going, you know, from back in the day. This place is decidedly unmanned, but still working by the looks of things. And it's as he leads you through one of these hallways that has these old marcations around the place and signs kind of hanging off of their bolts and such, that he eventually pulls you into, like, what looks like initially just another alley, and and once again there is this, like, door that he opens up, and instead of you being inside of this building all of a sudden, you find yourself once again, like, amidst the normal apartment buildings and stuff. Seemingly this was another place that was, like, built on top of this area. It's always so difficult to wrap your head around exactly how everything is stacked on top of each other in this city, but this one is, like, particularly strange the way that it clicks together. You take a moment and realize that the floor beneath you is a catwalk again, but it's a catwalk which has since had a concrete floor built beneath it. It's almost as if this was outdoors before and has now been, like, enclosed once again. And he kind of leads you away into these now, like, regular apartment hallways and stuff before he opens this one particular door, fumbling with a key for a moment and unlocking it, and once again beckons you inside. This area is dark as hell, and very clearly no one comes here, which is odd. But he beckons you into this room of that he has unlocked, and kind of like holds the door open for you.
Is he is he doing so hurriedly? Like, come on, hurry, in a way.
He's still clearly, on edge, but he's no longer like, oh, we need to like go, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, is this person tense? Like, their body language?
Oh yeah, easily. Really tense.
Alright. After, like, that short pause to just take in this person, Nixe goes in.
You walk inside, and this area is, like, initially, it looks like it's been forsaken, but, like, by an actual organization. It looks like there's, stuff that has been put up on the walls and on the doorways and stuff. Like, this looks like it may have been some kind of entranceway to an area before, of like, you walk in and then this is where like you are like, expected to like take off your coats and whatever, that kind of a thing. And you immediately note that it smells absent. Like clean, like really clean when you walk in here. It's weird to say, but you notice that it doesn't smell of anything in here. It just smells as if it has been completely neutralized in here. And yeah, you see him kind of put down the flashlight, and he flicks on the light switch, and once again, instead of a full brightness light bulb flicking on, it seems to have intentionally been left underpowered. And you see these like plastic sheet curtains barring this hallway from like what looks like what would be the entrance into like a bigger room, essentially. And he kind of like walks through it, the sound of the plastic sheeting kind of like battering against him as he does. And before he beckons you in, he kind of like looks to you, and he just goes,
I will explain everything, but please just...
He gestures to the side table, and there is a, what looks like a pump bottle of disinfectant, and he just goes,
please just... I would appreciate if you disinfected your hands, at least, and wipe your feet.
I was just gonna ask if you needed me to get my feet as well. And she, quite, diligently, like, humps some cleanser on her hands and, like, tried to, like, wipe her feet to be, like, polite. Because she figures that maybe I can get this guy's guard down if I behave nicely.
You do so, and eventually follow him through. And as you push through these plastic curtains, you enter into an area that is unlike anything you have seen in Hope's Rise before. It's not medical, it's not, like, clinical or anything like that. It is a area which you suspect at one point wasn't an apartment as such, but may have been some kind of, like, foyer of, like, maybe some kind of, maybe a business, or maybe some kind of, like, something which was not designed to be lived in, per se. But it never got finished. There are these, like, hallways and doors that are, like, leading off into areas which you could tell are, like, still skeletons of, you know, like infrastructure, like a half done building almost, like the kind of thing where when you are seeing an apartment building being put up, there's like nothing there, but there's nothing in it yet, just the places where there should be windows and there should be doors and there should be hallways and electricals, that kind of a thing, right? And you can see that like the two other hallways that would lead off into like other parts of this place have been barred off, and this somewhat tall room is occupied only in the center by a very sparsely dressed bed, where it's just got like a sheet, not even a duvet, just like a sheet, a pillow, and then around it there is like a couple of cabinets and some like chairs, which are weirdly, you see the legs, the bottom of the legs have been wrapped with cloth, and you see that like there is all of these things around here which have been distanced from one another in this weird way where like everything is given its space. Everything has like no, it almost looks like there has been a distinct concern made for nothing touching or nothing accidentally touching other things. Like everything has its location, and there is even drawn out on the floor, you can see that there is this old like markations from what seems like paint circled to create these little areas. It all feels weird, and he kind of like is walking around and like seemingly fussing over a few things. He's like very carefully opening like a notepad, and he pulls out a pen, like a ballpoint pen, and then very carefully writes in it and closes it, goes over, grabs one of the chairs that has these cloth wrapped around the bottom of their legs, which he picks up, goes over to you, and like seemingly looks around a little bit, measures some distances internally, and then very purposefully places the chair down near you, but like equidistant from several other pieces of furniture. And as he does so, you notice that the cloth around the legs has made it so that there is no sound when he sets it down. And he gestures for you to sit on it.
Nixe nods like in like a thank you motion, and then intentionally, very carefully, steps over to the chair and carefully sits down, trying to make as little noise as possible.
He kind of like watches you do that and eventually like kind of relaxes a little bit. And he goes,
"We are safe here."
Hey gang, welcome to the break. We'll get to our normal shilling in just a moment, but first of all, I just want to give you an update on how things are going and address something. That being that if you are one of the wonderful people who has been supporting me on Patreon, then you may have noticed that we have not been managing to get up the episodes ahead of time like we normally do. For anyone who doesn't know and just skips over these segments normally, I do my best to have an episode ahead of time available to my patrons as a little thing just to, you know, entice people, and also just to give you a little something in return for supporting me. That has not been the case recently, and that is because there has been some just personal troubles recently with me that has been just making things exceptionally difficult on a couple of levels. I won't get into it, but the main thing is just that I have not had the headspace or the time to really get around to doing these ahead of time recently. So I want to apologize for that, but I also just want to thank you so much for sticking in it with me as well. It is so awesome to see you guys still listening and to see people still supporting. It really means the world to me, especially at a time like this where things have been a little bit difficult. So bear with me. I have full confidence that when things have leveled out a little bit, I will be able to get us ahead of schedule once again. It is really just exceptional circumstances right now. If anything, I am quite thankful to the fact that I actually made the choice to switch to fortnightly uploads pretty much right before all of the trouble started happening. So I'm very thankful that that particular piece of fortune did happen. But yeah, no, I won't ramble any more about it. Thank you for continuing to support, and my apologies. We will get back to things soon. With that being said, if you are enjoying Heart of Hope and you want to help support the show and support me in the meantime, then you can do so over on that Patreon that I mentioned, which is patreon.com/eternal_savvy. We don't have the episode in advance right now, but what we do have is a bunch of assets and small things that I actually use in the game with Iris. Stuff like little icons and markers, map markers, that kind of a thing. It's nothing crazy, but it's just one or two like bespoke assets that I have been using, even though, you know, they aren't visible on screen. It just helps us to communicate these things. And if you want to see those, then we have that up on the Patreon. You can get that for as little as $1 a month. That's right, $1 a month will get you that, and it will get you the episode ahead of time once we're back on schedule with that. You can support for more if you just want to help me out and you want to be extra generous and super awesome and cool like that. But even that minimum of $1 will get you everything. So please consider supporting. And if you want even more reason to support, one of the main ways that I use that money to improve the show is by commissioning artists, whether it be for stuff like the logo or more directly as of late, music commissions. So we've got a couple of unique tracks already that do play at various moments in the show. And that is from real human artists that we commission from. So if you support the show, you're not just supporting me, you are supporting other artists out there as well by virtue of that little degrees of removal or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we are also, if you want more of my content, you can go and find me over on twitch.tv/eternal_savvy, where I stream pretty regularly. We currently have clown games rolling, as well as a new, although it was quite cursed with technical difficulties, we do have an Elden Ring co-op stream going on at the moment as well on a weekly basis. And I also do art streams, and there will be tabletop coming up there as well at some point, once things have again cleared up a little bit with what's going on with me. But yeah, no, other than that, there's also my YouTube channel if you are not listening to Heart of Hope on that already, which is eternal_savvy, or my VOD channel for my Twitch as well, which is staying_savvy. Pretty much the only place that I'm different online. Speaking of being online, I'm on Blue Sky at the same of eternal_savvy. You should go find me there, and you could even do something as cool as submitting some fan art by using the hashtag Heart of Hope and @ing me on Blue Sky. And if you are happy for me to do so, I will put it up on the fan art carousel, which you will be seeing on screen if you are listening to this on YouTube. We've got so many really wonderful pieces of art already, as I'm sure that you're all seeing, and I can't thank you enough for it. It genuinely is such a joy for me. And yeah, no, if you at me on Blue Sky or submit it on my Discord, then that will go up on the carousel if that's all right with you. I will stop yammering on, because I think, yeah, there's no characters. I think we're good. So yeah, no. Thank you again for understanding, and thank you again for supporting and continuing to listen and be so enthusiastic. It genuinely really means the world to me, especially in tough times like this for me. So thank you, and let's get back to the episode. Bye-bye.
She nods, and once again with her voice tries to talk softly, so that to not, make this guy's ears hurt. Just, for how long have you been following me?
I have known about you for a long time. I don't make a point of following you unless I feel it is necessary. When you started to take interest in the bodies showing up, I knew I must find you and make sure that you do not find trouble. I had only found you today because I also was looking for bodies.
Nixe just ponders for a moment. Are you looking into this for personal reasons?
He kind of shifts uncomfortably at that. And he goes,
Yes. I do not want to say too much, because the more you know, the more danger you are in. I will urge you to leave this alone. You are still unaware of enough that you can leave this behind. I don't have that choice.
And as you might guess, Sammy, at hearing that there is something that she shouldn't know, her smile just broadens at that.
You smile wider, and you see him kind of like sigh a little bit or breathe out in like a little bit of exasperation. And he just goes,
Of course not. Nixe Stargazer is the most hated and most effective information gatherer of the city.
Aw, you flatter me.
I just repeat what I hear from others.
and he kind of walks over to this desk that he has again, with everything very neatly piled in its own like locations and everything. And every time he is picking something up and placing it, it's all so purposeful and methodical. Eventually he like, through the process of like, grab book, put it down, grab book, put it down, like does that like 5 times, he eventually reaches the book that he wanted as he pulls it out, and he carefully flips to a page, and he just goes, You have spent a large amount of time in every territory as a dredge. You have knowledge of places which most other people don't, except for maybe someone like me. I saw you lead people to places that are normally inaccessible. I've seen you find pathways out of the city which I thought were too dangerous to tread, and I was right about.
Nixe is utterly fascinated with this guy, because normally when she would meet someone who's been like, "Oh, I know what you've been up to," she like dislikes that, but purely because of like how clearly particular this guy is in his behavior. And like, so far, I don't think Nixe has been able to detect any sort of malice or any like what she sees is this person's personality. There's no like trying to like act for a certain reason, or like give off trying to trick Nixe into think that he's someone he isn't.
Mm-hmm. He kind of flips a few more pages, and he just goes,
and I also know that while you have been recently in the No Man's Land, you do not know of who those people were in that water tower, in that silo.
Did you see me and Vex?
He shifts somewhat uncomfortably, and he goes,
Not see, no. I don't need to see to know things. I can...
Hear them?
Yes. There is a way that sound travels. That people can't hear. And I am cursed to be able to.
And he kind of puts down the book. And he pulls out another one, once again, methodically.
Vex recently dealt with the tower of... the Grow Tower that was overtaken by the Rejects. I believe their official name is They of Clay.
That is true. I've heard of that.
He kind of like looks through his notes again, and he goes,
I believe Vex is deeper in this than you are. Far deeper. And
he puts down the book, and he kind of walks a little closer to you.
I know what you are like, and I know that you will not let sleeping dogs lie and leave stones unturned. I will give you information that you ask, but only so far as I believe it will to help you to understand that this is to be left alone.
Nixe raises her eyebrows at basically what seems to be like someone offering up a bunch of information for seemingly, like, kind of free, but, you know, not really, but for a cheap price at least. And why me?
You have ways into places which others don't, not just as a dredge, but because of your particular skills.
He thinks for a second and kind of walks over to another one of his cabinets. This one's like a filing cabinet, which he, with this one, he like very carefully makes sure to open it slowly, as not to rattle it too much.
Ah, it's one of those metal things, yeah.
And he reaches in and he pulls out what looks like a little like folder, like a manila folder, and he goes,
There are locations that I one day may need access to. I had hoped that I might contact you at another date, under different circumstances, to help get me there the same way that you helped Vex get to the outskirts. I need you alive because I do not know anyone else who could do such things. Not anymore.
Nixe raises her eyebrows at that. The price for information is future services, then.
I will not pretend that I have much money.
He closes the filing cabinet, goes to another area in the room where he like opens up this like old metal and plastic chest, and he pulls out this little bag of like what it looks like a wallet, but it has been stuffed with like cloth to stop the coins from clinking. He like starts to like idly count through the coins as well as like the paper, which he seems a lot more agreeable with. And he just goes,
I had been I had been saving money with the intention of one day paying you, but if this will suffice as payment, then I will supply the information.
Nixe, judging based on the, she's trying to understand, the rules of how everything, is supposed to be placed here, but she, carefully, stands up and takes, one, maybe 2 steps closer to him, trying to keep how she's supposed to be in the middle of everything, an equal distance away from everything. And she just says, if you know me as well as you claim you do, then I think that you would know that if a piece of information is interesting enough, I am willing to give you a large discount.
But I understand as well that information is to be paid for by others. You need to know that this is not to be given to others freely. Not for money, not for anything. I am giving this information for you to satisfy your curiosity and to understand that this is much more dire than you understand.
Well, considering the events that I went through with my little jaunt through the no man's land with X, and considering the excursion I've had today, and how some people around me are a little tense lately, I figured as such. Don't mistake my attitude for not taking things seriously. Because then you would not have known my name.
He nods, and he just goes,
What do you wish to know?
Well, what's your name?
He considers for a moment, and you can't make out anything of his face, right? He is completely covered up. There is not an inch of him that is visible right now. And he goes,
I will tell you. I cannot tell you my name, but I can tell you a way I have been known. One that will not jeopardize your safety. You may know me as Jecht.
Jecht. Have I ever heard... Does that ring any bell, even though it's a fake nickname?
No. You've never heard this name.
Are you affiliated with anyone?
You mean the gangs? No.
Anyone?
Affiliated with anyone? No, not anymore.
Not anymore. But do you know what that thing that chased me down there was? That machine?
Yes. It is, an automated drone. They have limited programming that allows them to respond to certain things. In this case, you had the misfortune of going too far and triggering what I assume was just it activating. They have high-caliber weaponry on board. Not huge amounts of it, but enough that they might take care of any threats to their operation. And while they are capable of operating on their own, they cannot, much like anything, they cannot send information wirelessly. They must dock and send things via cable like anything else, which is where it descended from.
She thinks to herself, so if I would be able to nab one in the future, that could be having a lot of interesting stuff on it.
Assuming that they keep any of their memory on board, then you might get some information out of it. But if it escapes you, then it will be able to report that information back, and you would become known.
Alright. I see. She thinks again, and decides to, take the conversation in a different direction. Do you know who has been stealing hearts lately?
I do.
Is it an entire group of people? She's just trying to verify her suspicions at this point.
Yes. A group of very dangerous people.
Are they affiliated with any of the gangs?
No. Not that I know.
Fair enough. I assume that you're not omniscient.
No, I am still limited by my own physical presence at the end of the day. If I am not around to hear the information, I can't hear it.
Do you know if there's a specific type of people that they choose to hunt, and not just randomly?
They are searching for enhanced hearts.
Figured as much. Mechanically or through mutation?
Biologically, yes.
No other organs?
No.
It seemed like they were... Because at this point, Nixe just assumed that this person had heard the conversation that she was listening to earlier, or at least know some of that information.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they are experimenting and trying to get a very specific result.
They are looking for something very specific, yes.
Perhaps a very durable heart that can handle a lot of stress? Wouldn't be my first thought.
I will do nothing to encourage any theorization on what.
You feel like there was something there that was not that didn't feel fully pragmatic the way he said that.
Very much ask the question. I can neither confirm nor deny. All right.
He, at this point, he kind of walks a little closer, and he just goes, I cannot spend all day here, so I will instead volunteer some more information that I am willing to give you, as much as I am sure you would like for us to speak for longer.
Nixe can tell that maybe she's pushed a button or clears close to a sore point, so she obediently is all right, I will graciously accept this information.
The organization that is doing this are well supplied and well equipped, and they are willing to silence anyone who is aware of them. Violently and without hesitation. I will volunteer this name only to ensure that you know what not to say. Under no circumstances should anyone ever know that you are aware of a group called Atrium.
She almost says the name out loud for a moment. Jecht can see that she's almost shaping her mouth to say the name, but then stops herself and then just closes her mouth and nods at him.
Mm-hmm. He relaxes a little bit.
If you have any desire to remain alive, and if you truly cannot stop yourself from investigating this further, do not follow the people responsible for these killings. I have heard what they are capable of and what they have, and it is technology that people have not encountered. Cybernetics on a level which very few people in this city have experience with.
She kind of for a moment looks down at her own hands, and then just looks at him and asks, "I not even myself? Are they far removed?"
He walks over to another one of his desks, and this time, like, pulls out something, and he walks over to you, and he goes, "This," and holds up this small, like, it looks like a device which has some kind of crystalline component to the center of it, as well as a liquid component. It must be only, like, 2 inches long, something like that, you know? Not very big. And he goes, This is a power catalyst. State of the art. Something which was only realistically easily developed within the highest end facilities within any place in the world. This one is broken. He kind of indicates to the one side of it where you see that it has been notably dented. And the output of power that this can create. He seemingly for a moment it seems almost as if he is overtaken by, like, a memory. He looks off into the middle distance for a moment, kind of like, even his head, even though you can't see his eyes, his head kind of tilts away from you as he seems to recall something. And then he kind of snaps back to reality and goes, "Are you aware of plasma throwers?"
Am I aware of them?
Make me a roll, please.
Huh?
You've heard people talking about them, because they are a technology which is kind of, how do I put it? If you were talking to the top brass of collectors, one of the things that they talk about frequently is, like, they'll often talk about, like, the coolest new tech, the newest toys that they love to get their hands on to install in themselves to show how big of a fucking deal they are, you know?
Oh, don't I fucking know it. Don't I fucking know it, yeah.
And if there's one thing which is quite often thrown around as one of the, quote, pinnacles of technology, it is plasma technology. Superheating material to a point where fire is one thing, plasma is the kind of thing where with a single stroke it could cut through anything as if it would just... it could cut through anything like butter. It is one of the most terrifying things out there, and it is to a point where you know of someone who has one. The Iron Asherah is one of the only people in the city who has access to a piece of plasma weaponry. And it is one of the things which makes the Iron Asherah so terrifying, because it completely melts people. And it is not even the thing that she is known for.
She looks Jecht and goes, "I know that I'd be pretty screwed if I got close to anything plasma."
He goes and puts the piece of technology back where he got it from, and he just goes, "Then I don't need to tell you just how dangerous it is. And I don't need to tell you why you must stay away from people who have regular access to such things."
She didn't have any plans to meet up with the Iron Asherah anytime, but now she's like, alright. They have reached the level of, like, I don't like talking to Brimstone and I like to avoid him as much as possible, but, like, alright.
But he kind of finishes putting it away. And he goes, I will be in touch if anything happens that I feel
requires your attention. But until that day, I must ask you to leave.
She raises her eyebrows. Should I avoid this part of the city, or...
As much as it pains me to do so, I will be relocating.
That my fault?
Yes.
Nick stifles a laugh because she doesn't want to be loud. My apologies. I couldn't help myself.
I would not have brought you here if I did not think it was completely and utterly necessary.
Should I wait for you to contact me or come to me in the future then?
He kind of thinks for a moment, and he goes,
No one, aside from you, that I am aware of knows of this place. While I might abandon it...
He kind of goes over to, to one of his desks again, and he pulls out, what looks like a marker, and kind of goes to hand it to you. And he goes,
This is an odorless marker, something which I have come to appreciate as an object more than others. If you leave a mark here, once I have left this place, then I will come and I will find it, and I will know that you need to see me.
And if you need to see me?
Then I will find you.
She, turns this marker in her hands just to, inspect it. And then she's about to, put it in her chest compartment, but then she's like, that might be too loud for him. So she just holds it in her hand for now.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of backs up, gestures to the exit, and he goes,
Now if you'll excuse me, I have things I must be doing.
She understands a polite get the fuck out when she sees one. So she bows to him very politely and says, "Thank you for saving me earlier."
He just nods, and he goes,
I hope one day you can return the favor.
Well, I do owe you one. And she quietly turns around and walks straight toward the exit, still trying to mind Jecht's rules of space between things in his home. And I leave and try to find my way out of this mess of a building.